You ready? Here we go. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the show, and welcome officially to autumn. Because in the Northern Hemisphere, today is the first day of fall, and boy, am I happy about that, because it was a long summer, and now it's time to cool down and head into the best time of the year for gamers. On today's show, we're going to have a more laid-back atmosphere again. Today, I would like to jump into the suggestion box. And before you're like, what is that? We have a suggestion box here pretty much running all the time for this show. The funny part is, we're almost always so busy with game news, with other topics, we don't usually check it that often. And so it's funny every once in a while to just kind of sit back and open it up and start reading through it. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. But the funny part is, with all the stuff that's been going on with me in the last 2 months, it's going to be interesting to see how many of these suggestions maybe were already listened to or maybe don't even apply anymore. It should be a good show. Of course, today is React Day, which means we're going to be doing totally different stuff than gameplay, which is always welcome as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, happy fall. It's time for the first autumn-themed episode of the Level 1 Podcast.
Get ready for some meaningful content, because the king is back, the king of the live stream, the king is back. Woo!
Alrighty, well, welcome everyone. Today is Sunday, the 22nd of September, 2024. I'm Darkside Phil, and welcome to the fall. This is the Level 1 Podcast, and on today's show, we're going to basically get caught up a little bit with a few topics. I'm going to let you know about how the casting of Frank Stone went, some updates with WWE Champions, which is going to be pretty fun, and then, update on the schedule for the week, and then we're going to jump into the suggestions box, which we haven't looked at in so long. It's 2 months outdated, so it's going to be fascinating for sure. I hope you're all doing well, and I hope that you're having a great weekend. For me, it's kind of a mixed bag, and what I mean by that is I'm really enjoying the stuff we've been doing together. The podcasts have been great. The gameplay has been good. I put up blackout curtains in my office, and yesterday was the first day that I tested them. So first of all, number one, I can tell you, these blackout curtains are absolutely amazing for blocking light. As you can see, you see how good the setup looks? Like, look, you can see that my lights are pulsating behind me because it's such a good lighting system now. It's completely enclosed dark like a studio in here. So everything looks amazing. Pops. There's no more light coming from that window disturbing the setup. So everything there, 100% great. However, and this is a big however, they really aren't doing that much for heat reduction at all. The heat's coming in from the sun on that wall. They're absorbing the heat, but this room is still heating up. And I'm not really sure there's much I can do about it. I've been looking into this, okay? How do you reduce heat in a room? Air conditioning. Well, I don't want air conditioning in this room 24/7, especially in the fall and winter. That would be silly and ridiculous. Well, there's basically two options, okay? Option number one is that you can get curtains, blackout style curtains, that have what is called a silver reflective coating. What it is on your side of the curtains, you see the color of the fabric. On the other side, it actually is almost like a mirror coating that reflects back the sunlight, okay? This is meant to deter heat. Now, it doesn't 100% deter it, but it does dramatically reduce the amount of heat that a room would get, say, on a sunny afternoon where the sun is beating on that wall or window. And I looked into this, and I was like, I have no problem getting that whatsoever. Here's the problem. My window in this office is a weird shape. It is 60 inches wide. That is not a standard window shape. Standard window shapes are 52 inches or 70 inches. So I've been looking all over the internet. I can only find these reflective curtains in 52 inches, which isn't big enough. So I would have a whole 6 to 8 inches uncovered if I get those reflective curtains. Now, I could just try them and just see. Maybe I could stretch them out just enough. And if they're too small, maybe I could return them. But I just don't know what to do. I don't want 3 or 4 curtains on the bar. It'll probably break. You know, the curtain rods and its brackets are not meant to hold a million pounds. So I don't know. That was one option. And I'm looking into that, but I really don't know if it's going to work. The other option is complete blackout panels / fabric. What does that mean? What you can do is you can get basically a giant fabric blocker. On one side, it's whatever color you want. On the other side, again, it's that silver reflective coating. And you just block the whole window with this using Velcro. Okay, so you can take it off whenever you don't want it, and you can put it up when you do. Now, that's all well and good, except there's a problem there. You can't have your window open if you block it, right? And if I don't have my window open, I have absolutely no air circulation. This room is full of electronics. I've got 2 PCs. I've got 3 monitors. I've got a laptop. I've got all this other equipment running, game consoles sometimes. I can't have this room with absolutely no air circulation. It would be so hot and stuffy. Even if I have no sun heating the room up, the room itself with no air circulation would just be hot anyway. So I'm looking at all these situations. I'm like, there's no solution. Like, literally, there is no solution. It used to be, oh, I don't have the time and the money to figure this out. Now I have that, and there's still no solution. Like, they don't make the curtains big enough for my window because my window is a weird size. I can't get the ones that I really need, and the other solution doesn't work. So, and then Bookworm says, what about home window tint kits? Again, that's a solution that works if your window is closed. If your window is half open, there's no tint on the window. Half of it, the sun's still hitting it. It's still going to heat up your room. The only way those tint kits work is if your window's closed all day. And I can't do that because then this room would be too hot. You see? So, yeah, I just don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm debating buying the smaller reflective curtains and trying those and see if they work. I don't know if they will. They may be too small and not block the light. I mean, it's going to end up being like, what's the lesser of 2 evils? The heat, the light, somewhere in between, air circulation. It seems like there's just no real good clear-cut answer to my problem. And this is something I've been dealing with for a decade. I've been streaming from this room for a decade, and it's always this time of year, when early fall, when it's still too hot, because you still got almost summer-like temperatures, but we can't, it's not cool enough to do everything fully like fall yet. Or early spring, it's the same thing, where it's just starting to warm up. You get that in between. It's too cool to put in the air conditioner, but it's too hot to stand. It's always like maybe, maybe a third of the year that I'm dealing with this. And right now is that time. And it's like, ugh. So if anyone out there has any suggestions, all right, I'm open to them. I would like help. If any of you deal with this, basically what happens is every afternoon, starting around now, around the time I start the podcast, the sun comes out. The sun literally beats on the front wall of my home. There's no way to stop that, okay? This room, which is front facing to the sun, heats up about 25 degrees. Now, in the fall and winter, it doesn't matter because it's cooled enough outside. I don't care about that temperature differential. I just leave the window open and it's nice, right? But the problem is right now we're only just hitting early autumn and it's still 70-something, sometimes 80 degrees outside. So it makes this office 100 degrees. So what am I supposed to do? I took the air conditioner out because I'm not going to leave it in forever. It's not summer anymore. So it's just like, Daniel made a suggestion. If the curtains are sold in 2-packs, which they are, buy 2 sets and use 3. Not possible because there's a center bracket. There's a center bracket on the curtain rods to hold it in place. Any curtain rod, you're going to have 2 on the end and 1 in the middle. So how do you have a third curtain? You have 2 on one side and 1 on the other, So, yeah, I don't know how this is going to work. Evaporative coolers don't work. Bookworm says evaporative cooler. Evaporative cooler works by you have some kind of a body of water, like a tank, and it evaporates that water and gets it in the air. You can't have that in any room with electronics. It literally creates condensation in the air. It makes all the electronics get wet. You can't do that. What you're talking about is like a swamp cooler. That's for like down south in that freaking Florida and shit, where it's so hot all the time, but you don't want to run AC. It's too expensive. You get one of those. That doesn't work for electronics room. I have a standing oscillating fan. That's exactly what I'm using right now. A standing oscillating fan currently is blowing air through my office. That's the only way that I get air circulation in here right now, is the oscillating fan. Perhaps if I'm going to look into having an electrician already install like a fan and light in my dining room, maybe I should, at the same time when the electrician comes for that, have them install a fan and ceiling light in here. Right now I have a ceiling light in here that doesn't work. Only one of three. It's like a stupid, weird, ugly lamp, and only one of the 3 bulbs works. It's all destroyed and shit. So I'm thinking just have that removed and put a fan up so I have nice air circulation in here. That might help a lot, just to have the air moving in the room. So maybe that's a solution, you know, or a part solution. That way I have not only the oscillating fan, but a ceiling fan as well, right? Could be. Hold on a second. I just wanted to have the fan fully blowing on me, so I moved my office chair out of the way a little bit. So we'll see what happens. All right, I got to think about this. I don't know if I'm going to order these reflective blinds or do something else, another solution. I don't know. It's just like all these years, 10 years, I'm like, oh, all I got to do is get blackout curtains. I get them, and immediately I'm still hot. I'm like, well, what happened? Oh, because the blackout curtains are not going to stop the sun. Like, all right. Anyway, that's neither here nor there, but that's an update there. Okay. So what's going on? Let's talk. Let's talk a little bit about yesterday, because yesterday was a great streaming day. First of all, I think it's sufficient to say, as you can see, these new goals that I have are working very well. And what I mean by that, the new goals, is that basically from now on, I'm counting super chats and I'm counting tips towards my stream goals. And it's working tremendously, because now everyone could contribute. Either they could do a super chat or a super sticker, or they can tip. And that pretty much covers everyone who wants to support my streams. So 4 straight streams, we have hit it, and not even with like a problem, just bing, bing, bing. So I'm happy for that. Obviously, I hope we could do that again today. It's going to be harder today. Why? Because today's React Day. This is not gameplay day. It's a day when I'm doing all reacting content, and typically I don't get as many people on my streams for React Day as I would do during a normal day. Especially because it's pulled between different streams. You know, we do the podcast here, then we head over to DSP React for the clip show, and then tonight we head over to DSP Throwback for my retro react stream of Resident Evil 1. So, you know, it can even be confusing for someone to not even know where I'm doing my stuff. So I'm hoping we keep the momentum going. 4 straight streams, we've been hitting it. Let's actually do some preliminary shout outs, shall we? We have Fart, who did a $5 super chat and says, congrats on your recent success. Thank you to Fart for that. I appreciate that. And then I received a $10 super chat from Donkey Nuts saying, congratulations on winning the Hunger Games. I don't even know what that's a reference to. I'm sure it's something that goes right over my head, right? But thank you. You are the top super chatter of the day. And so that gets us to $15 in contributions already. We just start, correct? That is awesome. So let's keep it going. Anything today, greatly appreciated. We've got 200 people on the stream. See what I mean? We only have 200 people on the podcast. I'm not shocked. It's React Day. On React Day, we always get less attendance. But with over 200 people and climbing, let's get 50 likes on the stream. Right now, we're at 28. Let's get it up to 50 likes, guys. If you're here, please click like. Let's get that engagement going. It helps the channel tremendously. And hey, let's get some super chats and memberships. Right now, we have no memberships, and I see a lot of gray in chat. I'm sure people would love to have a membership to get access to emotes and not have to abide by the slow mode rules and to get a cool chat crown, right? And let's get our first tip of the day. Right now, we got no tips. Let's get a tip going, and let's get you right up here at the top tip spot on the leaderboard. All right, let's get it all going today. Good stuff. All right, so how did yesterday go? Well, first of all, we tried the casting of Frank Stone from Supermassive Games, the makers of the Dark Pictures Anthology, the makers of Until Dawn, and many other games as well. But it's a full-on crossover tie-in with Dead by Daylight. And it's interesting. We're 3 hours in, and let me tell you, The Quarry was terrible 2 years ago. That game was atrociously bad. This game actually has a well-written, interesting story. You're jumping between 3 time periods to try to get the full story of what happened with this guy, this supposed serial killer, Frank Stone. There's a supernatural twist and story in the behind the scenes of it that seems to tie in with the plot of Dead by Daylight. You got to cast the characters through different time periods, and that's interesting. You're searching for hidden items. You can choose, the way that the characters behave with each other, and apparently it'll change the outcome of the game later. So all of it's pretty good. Like I have no complaints so far. I'm actually enjoying myself. I would say that the story's on pace or on par with some of the better supermassive games previously. And that's really what it is when you're playing these whole like choose your own adventure murder mystery / horror games. You want a good story. Without a good story and good characters, you hate it. And that was the problem with the Quarry, was the story started out all right, but man, the characters were atrociously bad. So no one cared if they lived or died. Like everyone was rooting for them to die because they're all obnoxious. In this game, it's the opposite. Like the characters seem to be a little bit different with their personalities. Their little, writing's definitely better this time around. So I'm actually like invested in these characters and what's going on and what's going to happen with this kid trying to make a movie and what happened really with this cop who supposedly took out the serial killer years before. Is the serial killer still alive? It's all very fascinating. I'm having a good time with the game a lot. So I can't wait for more. And we're going to be playing it again this coming Wednesday, just so you guys know, okay? So, good stuff. I'm excited for more. It went really well. You can watch the first 3 parts on the channel right now. Then last night, we returned to WWE Champions. For the first time, we played a weekend event. And what I mean by that is we were eligible to actually check out what was going on the weekend. On the weekends, you typically have the best loot in the game, plus you have tours and special events where you can earn big rewards. We actually did a lot in that regard last night. We did like a Ninja Turtles tour. We did a bunch of the event tours and earned a bunch of rewards for them. And we did a bunch of pulls. Why? Because I raised a ridiculous amount of support last night. $700 of support for WWE Champions. That's insane. I never have streams that high of support. And the fact that we got it for a WWE Champion stream, pretty amazing. So we ended up doing a couple mega pulls and doing quite a lot of different, things in the game. The one downside is that the way they've built the game, you have to kind of do this slow grinding gameplay to unlock all of the content. You have to keep doing these repetitive tours and earning league points to league up. And you really need to be like playing it all the time in order to level to the point where you can do the whole monthly event, which I can't. Like I'm playing it once to twice a week. So I'm such slow paced progress that I can't do anything right now with the leagues. I'm just completely frozen. So it is what it is. I can't really do much to speed up my progress, but it was still fun and we still had a great time. And we basically had a situation where the glitch happened again. That had happened earlier in the week. It happened again. It's this disgusting, disturbing glitch where characters is evolving to be a higher level, and the face just distorts and all the body parts like disjoint and go. Brrr. It's really revolting that it happens. So give it a look. If you haven't seen it yet, it was entertaining. People are really liking the WWE Champion streams. You get the hype of what's happening during pulls. You get some excitement with the tours. We talk about wrestling all night. It's a good time, okay? So FYI, there's more of that coming later in the week, which I'll talk about in a moment as we go through the schedule. But till yesterday, outstanding day, tons of support, great gameplay all day, super fun. Can't wait for more of it, okay? Today is React Day, so we have the podcast now, and once this podcast is done, we head over to DSP Reacts together, and on that channel, we continue with these goals. These goals will carry over to that channel, FYI. It's not like, because I'm doing a React show, it's resetting the goals and we start over. No, these goals, I'm considering part of one stream, even though it's 2 channels. I know it's confusing, but it will carry over. And we're going to do my weekly Clips React show, DSP versus the Internet, where I watch clips that the members have submitted, and there's always a great variety of stuff. And I can't wait for more. Tonight on the late stream, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time over on DSP Throwback, we're going to be watching Resident Evil 1 Director's Cut. This will be the 3rd week we're doing it. Man, it's been a great ride rewatching that playthrough and reacting to it and, experiencing the classics again with all of you. It was one of my earliest direct capture playthroughs. So we're having a ball talking about it and having, just reminiscing about old school survival horror games and how my content used to be back in the day, right? Then tomorrow, Monday, we're back to gameplay. We'll have a podcast here in the morning. And we're going to continue on with Astrobot, wrapping up World 4, heading into World 5, which is the final official full world. Although, quite frankly, I do feel like there's going to be more than that. I think there's going to be secret content and stuff at the end of the game that's going to extend its length, much like any modern Mario platformer. I feel like Astrobot has more of that. So probably at least another 2 streams before we wrap up Astrobot. Then on Monday night, we're going to do the Marvel vs. Capcom collection. And I'm very excited for this because guess what? They patched the game and fixed it. Now you can find matches whenever you want. Glitches have been fixed. Everything is corrected. So I'm very excited for that on Monday night because it's going to work for the first time ever. And then Tuesday, we're going to have another fun podcast in the morning. And Tuesday is the release of Terry Bogard, the next DLC character for Street Fighter 6. I'll be exploring that character all day long in Street Fighter 6, taking him into his tutorials and his trials and learning bread and butter basics and then going online and doing some stuff and then going to ranked. Basically, the entire day is dedicated to the new Street Fighter 6 character, and I'm excited for it. Okay? Then on Wednesday, I will not be doing a podcast because I'm going to be appearing on a special show called Desert Island Graps. It's from the guys from Cultaholic. If you don't know, Cultaholic is this podcasting channel and source for wrestling stuff. And they want to have me as a guest to talk about the 3 matches of wrestling history that I would like to watch if I was stranded on a desert island. And we're going to talk about my history with wrestling, but also what's going on with me recently and all this stuff. I'm very happy to be a guest on the show. It's not live broadcast, but we're going to be recording during the time I would normally do my own podcast, which is why there's no podcast on Wednesday. And then that show will be available immediately for people on their Patreon, which is, I think, patreon.com/cultaholic. Or if you wait till Sunday, then it's available for free to everybody to watch, okay? And then for content on Wednesday, we're going to continue with the casting of Frank Stone on the first stream. And then it's going to be more WWE Champions on the late stream, where we're going to be checking out more of the Ninja Turtles event that's continuing for a second week. Thursday, I may or may not have a guest in the morning. I would like to have a guest, but it's not a guarantee because it really depends on the person's schedule. So I have to find out. I'll let you know the night before if we're going to have a guest. We may have an interview and a guest on Thursday. If we don't, it'll just be a standard level 1 podcast. And then Thursday's daytime stream is up in the air, and here's why I say that. We're not decided if I'm going to be playing this new Zelda Echoes of Wisdom game or not, right? We haven't decided yet. I mean, I could, but we don't know how long it is. We don't know how good it is. Quite frankly, first-party Nintendo games don't do so well these days. We are heading into a fall gaming season, but I don't know if people want to see it. Like, I'm not feeling like a strong vibe from the audience that you guys are dying to see this Zelda game, you know? So it's kind of a maybe for me right now. Like, I'm just not sure if I want to do this or not. I'm kind of like on the fence about it. Because if we don't do it, then we'll continue with Astrobot and the casting of Frank Stone. We'll try to wrap those games up. If we have a little bit of extra time, we could always go back to something like the System Shock remake. We could maybe have time to try to wedge in Dead Rising remake. And then, wait until the first major game of October, which is Silent Hill 2 remake. So, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do it or not. Like, I want your opinion. It's only Sunday. We have 4 days to figure this out if you guys want me to play the new Zelda game or not. So, let's talk about it over the course of the week and try to figure that out. And then, Thursday night will likely be either Street Fighter 6 or the Marvel vs. Capcom collection, because I'm not here on Friday, so there's no Friday night fights. So, it'll probably be, whatever in play, one of those fighting games for Thursday night, and then there you go. That's the week. Okay, what a week! What an 8-day week. Today is day 4, but even after today, I got 4 more freaking streaming days to go. Okay. All right, there you go. And I'm excited for that. I hope you are too. Give me your feedback. I want to know what I should do, particularly regarding the Zelda game. Okay, cool. All right, so what we're gonna do in just a moment, we're gonna head over to the suggestion box. But before I do, let's take a look at how we're doing. 267 viewers. Hopefully we get around 300 at least. 49 likes, guys. We are 1 like away from 50. Right now, click the like button on the stream. If you're sitting like you are right now, like I am, all you got to do is lean your head forward and go like this. Touch the button with your nose and like the stream. And then don't even use your hands. That's too much effort. Use your nose like this. And just touch like on the stream. Well, guess what? A few people did that. A few people used their nose because now we're at 53 likes. Let's keep it going. Oh, now we're at 60 likes. Some of you must have smashed your head. And it counted like 4 times or something. There you go. All right, well, thank you. We're at 60 likes and climbing. Let's get that to 100 likes this morning, shall we? And guys, let's get some contributions in. We got those 2 super chats, but that's it. Let's get some super chats. Let's get some memberships. And let's get our first tip of the day. We got nothing right now. Someone right now tipped something. Tip $1. Someone just tipped $20. I'm not even kidding you. I received a $20 tip from Guitar Player. He says, how long is Warhammer Space Marines 2? The campaign is around 10 hours long. Around 10 hours. Now, I didn't have much difficulty with it because I played it on the standard difficulty. Okay, if you're playing it on the harder difficulty, it'll probably be a little bit longer than that. If you're playing co-op, I don't know if the game gets harder. Like, I was playing with 2 AI companions, but maybe if you're actually doing it with humans, the game ups the difficulty. I don't know. Some games do that. But the campaign itself is around 10 hours long. Then there's the online modes. There's PvE, where you team up with either, again, AI or humans. And during those missions, you're basically going through variations of the same maps from the actual game, like this campaign. And wow, I can't type today. And it's kind of fun. I did 2 of those, and I found them entertaining. And those last about 30 to 45 minutes each, those missions. And there's 6 different ones to do there for now. And then there's PvP. And the PvP is not very good. All right? Not very good at all. The PvP has wonkiness where the characters don't move smooth. They're like teleporting around a little bit. And the time to kill is atrociously fast. Meaning, you'll see someone start shooting, then they just die. Someone sees you, they mash melee on you, you hit you once, you're dead. It's like, what is that? It doesn't feel good. Like, it doesn't feel like Gears of War or anything like that. It feels like it's really poorly executed. So I couldn't recommend the PvP. But all of the PvE stuff is good. The campaign's 10 hours. Then you got 6 of these extra missions that are around 45 minutes each. The more you grind in these missions, you unlock, customizables for your armor, colors, different armor pieces, different weapon customizations, and things like that. So there's definitely a lot of replayability in the game, especially if you have a group of people to play it with. If you're only looking to play it by yourself, about 10 hours for the campaign. You'll probably do some of the online co-op stuff, but I don't know how gripping it would be playing it without an established team. So cheers to you, guitar player, for the tip. I also just received a $1.25 tip from Spawn Killer. Why don't you see a poll to see if people want Zelda? Because polls aren't very effective. Usually when I do a poll, all of a sudden we'll have a massive influx of viewers because the trolls come in and try to skew a poll. I'd much rather talk it out with my live audience for a few days to get your different opinions and do it based off of that, off of the vibe that we're getting, rather than, I just did a poll that everyone just skewed because they're assholes, right? That's why. Polls just don't seem to be very effective these days. Okay, so thank you for that. Now we're at $36 in tips. Guitar Player also re-upped his membership for 39 months. Thank you, Guitar Player, for that. And Genesis Gaming upping his membership for 31 months. Thank you for that, Genesis Gaming. And he says, getting closer and closer to the next tier of the member crown. I'm looking forward to the games coming out in October. What game are you looking forward to the most this month? In October, there's a lot, right? I think October is like stacked. Let me take a quick look. Obviously, I'm going to say off the top of my head the Silent Hill 2 remake. I think we've all wanted Silent Hill 2 content or Silent Hill content for so long, and we've been waiting so long, and we're like, where is it? Where is it? Right? And it just hasn't been coming, and now it's finally coming. Metaphor is looking great. I'm very interested in it, and I hope I can play it. Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero, I'm not sold on, but more and more people seem to be asking me to play it. There's the Quiet Place game on October 17th. I'm not so sure about that. Sonic X Shadow Generations looks promising since the Shadow portion's all brand new. Of course, Call of Duty Black Ops 6. I played the beta, and it was super good on my PC. It was running beautifully, and I was whooping everyone's ass with my Elite 2 controller. So I actually can't wait for the final game to come out to kick everyone's butt in that version. Even Life is Strange Double Expanse is probably going to be good. And then we got Dragon Age at the end of the month. So out of all of that, I'm probably going to say the Silent Hill 2 remake is really exciting for me because I love horror games. And then maybe second place would be a tie between Metaphor and Call of Duty Black Ops 6. But, again, it's a stacked-ass month, so it's hard to really say, right? Okay. Genesis Gaming says, I'm looking forward to Dragon Ball Sparking Zero and Veilguard. Sounds good. Adam says, I'm excited for Life is Strange. Yeah, you know why I'm excited for Life is Strange? Can we be honest? They're going back to the original storyline with Max Caulfield or whatever her name is, who was a really good character in the original game. And that's who they should have kind of stuck with for the whole series instead of doing a sequel that sucked and then a prequel that sucked. And then, True Colors was good. Don't get me wrong. I actually did like True Colors. But we've been waiting to go back to the original character and find out what happened to her for so long. It's been like a decade, right? So finally we get to go back and continue that story, and that's good. So, okay. So ladies and gentlemen, now, thank you for those early contributions. Let's keep it rolling. We're currently at 72 likes and counting. Let's get it up to 100 likes. For almost 300 viewers, we can get it to 100 likes. Everyone, please click the like button, and let's get some more coming in with super chats and memberships, of which we have almost none. Let's go. Okay? All right. Let's now get to my next segment of the show. which is going to be the meat of the show, ladies and gentlemen. It's called Suggestion Box, and you probably don't know it exists because I never really mention it, okay? And this is something that I set up from time to time, and you guys can access it by typing !suggestion in the chat. It's been a running thread that we've had for 2 months. And what's funny is I put it up at the very end of July. Little did I know that in early August, everything was about to change, that I was about to start interacting with the guys from Kino Casino. We were going to have crossovers. We were going to have more people coming and watching my content than in the last 5 to 10 years. Positivity was coming my way. I was going to have a series of fun interviews and things. I had no idea any of this was happening. Okay? So what you're going to find as we go through the suggestion box, likely the majority of these are outdated. Now, some we might still get something useful from, and some might be just like, no, this is nothing. We're not going to get anything out of this. It's already old. So let's take a look. So starting with the very first suggestion from Tubs, Chained Together could be fun to play with Brian for variety. Well, as you know, we already played it. Already did the co-op. The guys from Kino Casino, and it worked out well. Consider possibly doing it again if they want to continue on. When they get back, I don't know when they're getting back, just like everyone. People thought they were coming back this weekend. Nope. You guys jumped the gun. They're probably going to be coming back soon, you would think. You know what? Here's what I think. I think they would be coming back for early October because that's their special event that they call Kinoeen, where I guess they do all this Halloween theme stuff all month long. So it only makes sense that they'd be coming back sometime in October, right? There you have it. Not that I know that. I don't know that. I'm just guessing, right? So anyway, so we did it. So thank you for the suggestion. Here, I'll give it a thumb up because we actually already did it. All right. Have you ever considered putting up a slide during your breaks or the podcast showing ways to support instead of saying it? It wouldn't necessarily do the same thing, but it would be less intrusive. Well, here's the thing. During breaks, now I play clips, funny clips. These clips right here. So it keeps the audience engaged and it keeps you guys excited rather than it being dead air or, something that says on break. So I think that does a better job of audience engagement and retaining audience than if I just put up a slide that said, hey, send me money, right? I get what you're saying. What you're saying is if I'm not here to talk about it all the time, then people don't know how to contribute. And then when I mention it, it's like, why does he keep mentioning it or something? I kind of get what you're saying. I do. But at the same time, I don't know if a slide saying that would really work. Plus, here's the thing. Maybe now we could do it, but imagine if I had done that 2 months ago and then everything changed, right? Because now we have different goals. We have different things we're counting and everything. So it would have actually not applied to today. So I'm actually glad I didn't do that 2 months ago. Because if I did, it would have all been different. Now I could maybe make a slide that says, hey, contribute to the King's Coffers goal. Super chats, super stickers, and tips all counted and much appreciated, right? And, be featured as the top super chatter and top tipper of a stream. Shout out to Orcs or Dorks, who just is a 40-month member. Thank you so much for the ongoing support. And he says, sup, guys, nice ideas with the clips. Oh, you mean the, yes, of course, with this, to play the funny clips during the breaks, of course. It keeps engagement going. People don't go anywhere because there's funny stuff on the stream. It makes a lot of sense, right? There you go. Continuing on. You can improve your content by not insulting the people that you ban and simply continuing the game or the topic discussion. If you get more done, you would probably come across as less bothered. People mess with you because they know you'll go on and on about how trolls are idiots. Sure, it might be true, but that's what they want to laugh at. A recent example is what happened with the steak conversation. The reactions to the trolls are what keeps them going. So you might be saying, what is the steak conversation? I don't even remember. I remember that was a dumb meme that the detractors latched onto. So allow me to focus on this for a second, okay? Here you go. I want you to think about this. My detractors, right, like to hyper-focus on one small piece of minutia, okay? Like the smallest, tiniest piece of minutia from something. It's not significant. It doesn't have any bearing on my content or streams. It's not even anything important. But they hyper-fixate on one small, insignificant thing. Then they blow it up to be important when it's not. They repeat it over and over and over like a cult, ad nauseum, until it becomes a groupthink mentality to say that thing over and over and over. And then to them, it becomes something of significance. It becomes like an empowering term for them. Like, oh, we all know what that is. We all know what the steak meme is. So we just say steak and it's funny. In reality, it's not funny. It's not intelligent. It's not even a real meme. It's that they're fucking brain dead, mentally stunted idiots. They actually just sit there and focusing on something that has no value, and they try to give it value like they're worshiping some kind of a fucking idol, like the golden calf or something. Like they think that's important. It's not. Only a moronic idiot would think it is. So that's why I don't give a fuck about their dumb memes or whatever they say. That's the thing. Like, you have to understand something. It doesn't matter what I say or do. They'll do it anyway. Like, if I have absolutely nothing going on, there's no yelling at trolls today, everything's fine, they'll still find shit to talk about because that's what they do. They're completely nuts. Normal people don't act like that. Normal people don't hyperfixate and go crazy over tiny little things that have no meaning and then turn them into giant blown up things, making mountains out of molehills. It doesn't make sense. Normal people don't have time for that shit. The fact that they even said anything about a steak, I don't even remember what that is. I think there was a stream where people were talking about steaks in my chat, and I was upset because I was playing probably like Street Fighter, and I was like, hey, why are you talking about steaks? I'm playing Street Fighter. Why aren't we fucking talking about Street Fighter? Right? And that was like it. That was the extent of it. And then they turned that into like a meme. It's like, what is wrong with you? You're a loser. Right? So here's the thing. All right? My trolls have a way of trying to derail my content because they'll come in here with a group to try to derail the chat. They'll come in here with 20 sock accounts out of nowhere, and they'll start talking about bullshit that no one cares about. And then the normal people are in the chat looking around like, I want to talk about the stream, but I can't because these idiots are talking about bullshit. What is this nonsense? Right? So it's like so dumb. And I don't want to entertain that shit. So I have the right to shut it down whenever I want, and I have the right to call a moron whenever the fuck I want. The fact is, the way you're talking, oh, well, you should just be completely not super nice to everyone because if you say something wrong, your trolls will emphasize it. My trolls will do that anyway. I could be the nicest guy on the planet. I could not swear. I could never say anything insulting to anyone, and they would still make the same exact content. Why the hell am I going to pussyfoot around and walk on eggshells because my detractors make videos? The detractors can lick my fucking turds. I don't care what they do. They're losers. They're never going to have a meaningful existence. They could all be flushed today and the world would be a better place. So why do I give a fuck about what they say and do and how they react to what I do? No one does, and no one should. It's time for you to stop empowering my detractors. If you think that anything they do has any meaning or worth, you're an idiot. Get yourself checked in somewhere because you need the help if you think that these moronic actions of these insignificant pieces of human waste matter to me or anyone with a fucking brain between their two fucking ears. All right? Cut the shit. Cut the duty. All right, let's move on. The next suggestion. Thumbs down for your horrible suggestion. Okay. You've gotten good at Street Fighter 6. I think it's time you entered an online tournament. You'll get tons of engagement. I don't really care about an online tournament because I'm not a competitive player. If I were someone who was looking to prove myself in a competitive space and say, hey, look, I'm good, and I want to, have laurels. I want to have titles attributed to me in my online, my gaming, then I would maybe do that. I don't give a shit about that. I play Street Fighter to have fun with it and to try to show if it's a good fighting game or not. I think sometimes it shows that it is, and sometimes it shows how bad it is. And I'm an honest person about it, and I tell the truth when I play. I don't lie or sugarcoat because I don't benefit by lying or sugarcoating like the FGC gets. The FGC, if they lie and sugarcoat and say Street Fighter 6 is the best fighting game ever and they don't talk about any of its flaws, well, then they benefit because everyone watches more of their streams, everyone attends more tournaments, they make more money. There's more sponsorships, there's more e-events, all that. If they're honest about the game's shortcomings, guess what? Oops, the game got criticized, now it does worse. So they're never going to be honest like I am. Okay, you have to understand that. If I play in an online tournament, I don't care if I win or lose. It's not that serious to me. I don't give a fuck, right? I'll try, but if I lose, I don't care, right? So why am I going to participate in something that I don't care about the outcome? Likely the online tournament is not going to be scheduled exclusively during the times when I would be working. So now I have to change my work schedule around just to participate in an online tournament that I don't give a crap about, right? Recently, someone actually reached out to me. There's local events in my area, and someone reached out to me and said they'd really like to have me attend an in-person tournament for Street Fighter 6. This is in the last month. And I talked to them, and I was like, I just want you to understand, I'm not interested. It has nothing to do with you. I don't care about being good at Street Fighter 6. Like, I don't want to be a tournament player. I like covering it the way that I am. And they're like, yeah, but you'll get your old school vibes back, and you'll get some hype back, and people will talk about it. It's like, yeah, but you don't understand. Number one, I don't care about if I win or lose. Number two, I've never even played this game offline. Chances are, the worst scrub at your event might whoop my ass because I've never played it without latency, So I might literally just get my ass handed to me by every scrub because they've been playing offline and I haven't. Why am I going to take time out of my life to drive to your event, try to play it in person, and then possibly lose and get my ass handed to me, and when I don't care about the outcome regardless? It's just all a waste of time. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't really give a shit. Just being honest. I think it would take too much time and effort to be trying to do an online tournament for something that I don't care about the competitive outcome of. Game Boy, what's going on? He's not here, but he actually did a suggestion 2 months ago. Let's see what he said. Consider putting the podcast and daily wrap on a different channel, maybe even a new one. It seems like the podcast and the stream that follows are usually two distinct different things. It might be worthwhile to split those up, but honestly, I'm not sure what the net benefit would be aside from optimizing the way your content is organized, just something I thought I would mention. There is a reply. I'm just curious. A year ago, I think this would have been a solid idea. However, YouTube now separates podcasts into their own category on the channel under the podcast tab. If he or his editors or another third party want to do a clips channel for his podcast, that would make sense, being on a separate channel, though. I feel that would make the 1.5 hour long podcast more digestible and appeal to a new audience who likes to watch 3 to 5 minute clips. It should be somewhat easy to do since there are timestamps to various topics for his podcasts now. That's right. Now, here's the thing. All of this stuff has kind of happened, but not really fully how they're suggesting, okay? So, number one, my podcast is here every day in the morning, right? Right before I do a gameplay session, okay? It is separate from the rest of the stream. That's correct. It almost feels like I'm doing 2 separate streams. In reality, I am. I'm doing 2 completely different kinds of content. This podcast actually began back in the day, not as a podcast, but as a pre-stream, where I would just talk with my audience for like 20, 30 minutes before we got to gameplay. What ended up happening was people liked it more and more. They wanted to hear about my schedule. They wanted to do Q&A. And as that evolved, the idea was we'll just make it a formal podcast so that way people won't complain that the pre-stream's too long, right? So that's what we've done. And quite honestly, I'm glad we did that because some days the podcast actually garners more attention and more engagement and more support than the game I'm playing. What's happening is, over time, I'm changing myself from being the guy who plays games to, DSP, he's that guy that does all kinds of content. He's a podcaster, he's a gamer, he does interviews, he does appearances, he does all this stuff. And that's good. That's what I've always wanted. I wanted to diversify because I knew as I got older, I couldn't just sit here playing games all day, every day, forever. It wasn't going to last, right? So that's excellent that this is happening, okay? But the idea that I should have a separate channel for it, it both works and it doesn't work, okay? Here's why it would work. Because you're absolutely right. Separating the podcast out from the gameplay means that you know exactly where to go to watch the podcast and to get the information about it, and it doesn't get hampered down or lost in the shuffle of a bunch of uploads every day. This channel has a ton of uploads every day. You've got the podcast, you've got gameplay videos, you've got the daily wrap, and now you've got highlights, which we're going to talk about in a moment because that's what OP Boone was referencing. So, with all of that, it may be hard to sift through. However, OP Boone has a point. Now, YouTube auto-separates podcasts. Right now, you can just go to the podcast tab of this channel to check out all of the podcasts and play them all in order. If you're a YouTube Premium subscriber, you get YouTube Music for free. And on YouTube Music, you can subscribe to podcasts just as if you had Spotify or iTunes or whatever, and you can get the podcast delivered to you daily. So you don't even have to do any work. You don't have to worry about, oh no, the channel's flooded with content. You can just subscribe and get it delivered every day like clockwork. And I believe that this channel has several different podcasts. I think that one is the Level 1 podcast. One is the Daily Wrap. Here, I'm going to click on it right now. Podcast. Yep, there's the Daily Wrap and there's the Level 1 podcast. There's also Ask the King, but that is outdated because I don't do it anymore. There's also some of the DSP React videos that I did on this channel for a while, but then I moved them over to the DSP React channel, so there's only like 19 of those. And then there's all of the pre-stream archives that lasted from like August 2015 until I turned this into the Level 1 podcast. That's almost 2,000 videos. So that's what's separated, okay? But yeah, you can watch that in podcast delivery form right now on this channel just by going to the podcast tab. That's how it works on YouTube now. So, yeah, like definitely check it out that way, all right? Now, clips and highlights I'm doing it every day now. That was a great suggestion by everyone saying, hey, can you have someone clip it out or do highlights? And I do that now. Anything that I feel is the most important piece of content, I'm purposefully separating it so that way you can actually get it in a deliverable fashion. For example, yesterday I broke out the fact that I'm going to be on this Cultaholic show, Desert Island Graps, this coming Wednesday. I also highlighted the funny moment in WWE Champions where there was the glitch where the guy got all deformed, right? A few days ago, I highlighted the fact that I own the rights to the Philomania logo. I did everything to qualify to be able to use them for commercial purposes. And I proved that everything my detractors were saying was literally a lie because they're a bunch of disingenuous, dishonest pieces of human feces who just want to make shit up to try to fucking hassle me as much as they can. And every day I do this, right? And I do these highlights and people love them. Sometimes the highlights are the most viewed content on the channel. They get more views than the podcast itself. They get more views than the gameplay I do that day. So the highlights are working tremendously, okay? Now, the highlights are all in one playlist. All you got to do is follow this one DSP highlights playlist, and you'll get all the important stuff from the channel in that highlights playlist every day. So I suggest that you keep an eye on that one. I don't know if you can subscribe to a certain playlist or whatever, but definitely keep an eye. That's what you want to follow. Now, the one suggestion that is not being followed through here is making a new channel. All right? Now, here's the thing. I fully admit, if I did a DSP Clips channel, all right, or if I did a DSP highlights, and it could be both from the podcast and gameplay, that could work because then people would just subscribe to the channel, right? And then they would know they'd be in on everything. If they want the raw gameplay and stuff, come to DSP Gaming. If you just want the clips, go to the clips channel. But here's the problem, all right? YouTube has ridiculous criteria for how you can qualify to monetize a channel. So right now, if I created a brand new channel from nothing and I had DSP Clips, DSP Clips It. That's probably what I would call it. DSP Clips It. And I'd even do an intro like that. I'd DSP Clips It, DSP Clips It. And just like I used to do with DSP Tries It, right? That would be awesome. But here's the problem. You need a certain amount of subscribers, thousands of them. Okay? You need a certain amount of watch hours, tons of it. To give you some perspective here, earlier this year, I wanted to rebrand my old KO Gaming channel as DSP Throwback, okay? And it took over a month, roughly, just about a month, of people going to the channel and watching the content I was putting up on it for it to qualify for the partner program. But it also had pre-installed subscribers from when the channel had been KO Gaming. It had tens of thousands of subscribers. I'm trying to remember, actually, how many subscribers the channel has. It already has 22,000 subscribers, and I think when I started, it was like 18,000. So it got like 4,000 new subscribers since I started working with the channel, but it was already there. You understand? It was like no work. It was already there. Now imagine me doing a channel from scratch. DSP Clips It, right? And this channel is getting all my attention because, as I said, on certain days, the clips on my YouTube, my DSP Gaming channel, get more views than all the other content on the channel, right? So imagine now everyone stops watching content on DSP Gaming because they go to watch the clips only on the DSP Clips It channel, but the channel's not monetized yet because I have to get a certain amount of subscribers, a certain amount of viewers, a certain amount of hours watched in order to qualify it for the partner program. So now I'm working my ass off on this channel, doing clips for it. I'm making no money on it. In the meantime, I'm losing money on DSP Gaming because people aren't watching DSP Gaming. They're just watching the clips channel. Do you see how this is shooting myself in the foot? Like, if I were a giant YouTuber and immediately I could open any YouTube channel and I could get 40,000 subscribers and I could be bringing in 10,000 views a day on that channel, this would work. But the problem is I'm not a big guy. I'm a small guy. I'm a small-time YouTuber. I really am. Sorry. I know a lot of people are like, you're not small. I am a small-time guy. I get big-time support, but I am a small-time guy. You have to accept this, okay? I don't have the flexibility to just open a new channel that overnight could get monetized. It would likely take me months to get a Clips channel monetized, in which case, for 3 months, I'm just going to have a big dip in my income. to set up a separate channel? I don't think so. Now, here's the thing. Long term, perhaps it'll work. Let's give it some time. This channel is seeing growth. I am getting more viewers, more subscribers, more support. Let's see what happens. Let's ride this out. I actually like the idea of a clips channel, an official clips channel from me, official clips. That's the highlights you watch every day. Makes sense. I actually really like the idea. And quite frankly, with the whole DSP throwback idea, the idea for DSP throwback is to get all of the playthroughs that have been missing from the internet remastered for a modern audience so you can watch them for posterity purposes. We're almost done with that. Okay? We have the rest of Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare. We have a few like lost clips, lost playthroughs, and some travel vlogs and things. Once that's up, I've pretty much archived all the stuff that was missing, and the only stuff left to do on the throwback channel would be playthroughs that never have been in their entirety because of copyright issues. For example, one of the playthroughs we're currently doing on this channel is Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and the reason we're doing it is because the original Vice City playthrough was destroyed by the music. YouTube just edited and blocked a whole ton of videos because of the music in it. So once those kind of projects are done, all right, it may be that I have my editors kind of freed up to do more work and not have to worry about this channel anymore. And this channel could just be a channel we go to once a week to do retro replay, and that's it. And then maybe we could do a clips channel, and every day they could go through and find some highlights and put it on the channel. And it's not so much more work for me. Right now, it's a lot of extra work for me to be clipping a few things a day and getting them on DSPGaming. Maybe I could actually have the editors work on that instead. I think, honestly, the clip stuff would be more meaningful at this point. The problem is, I'm in the midst of the throwback project. I'm not just going to dump it right in the middle of doing it. I want to preserve my work. We still have Undead Nightmare, a few more small things, and I would say the Grand Theft Auto playthroughs. Those are like the essential ones. Then after that, maybe we alleviate the workload on DSP Throwback to start working full-time on a clips channel. Okay? So I like the suggestion. I think the suggestion is very sound. This is a good one. Game Boy, this was an absolutely great suggestion. And of course, OP Boone's response also was great. I'm already doing this. I'm already clipping, and I already have all my podcasts separated into a formal playlist. However, the idea of a channel where it's like a clips and highlights channel is a great idea, and I think I may implement that long term. We just have to get around to doing it. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. It's an issue of how can I pull it off, right? Right now, I can't build a clips channel and operate it and take that shot in the foot of I'm killing myself on income, you know? Some people in chat are saying stuff. Let's see. Lipsy says, what about uploading to both channels the same clips? Well, that's awful. All you're doing then is you're splitting the audience. You want people to check it out on the clips channel so eventually you can monetize it. If you're uploading the same clips to two channels, you're splitting the audience. You're never going to get the audience you need to get the clips channel monetized. Plus, I'm almost positive that YouTube says you're not supposed to upload the same clip to multiple channels. Like you can only have the video on one channel or something like that, right? I'm not going to Twitch Blackjack Yak. I don't know what you're talking about. Why we're talking about Twitch. That makes no sense. Okay. All right. Anyway, guys, hold on. So let's take a look at how we're doing before we continue with the suggestion box. We have 330 viewers. Thanks for that. And we have 87 likes, guys. Let's get some likes. Let's get it up to 100 likes for the podcast. We're 87. We're only a few away. If you're here chilling, you're enjoying me going through the suggestion box, you're having a good time on the first day of autumn here on DSP Gaming, please click the like button. That engagement is key and it helps. All right. Super chats and memberships have been stagnant since the beginning of the show. Let's get something going there. Someone, you can super chat and it counts towards the daily goal now. All right. So let's get some super chats. Let's get some memberships. We have no memberships at all since the show started. Let's get someone to join. Let's get some gifted memberships for all these poor gray names in the chat. Let's get some members going. All right. And I have some shout outs to do. All right. Let's take a quick look here. Wow. Listen to this. This person says, I can read this out live if I wish. It's at my discretion. So let me skim through what they're saying. This is pretty good. What he's saying is actually legitimately great, but at the same time, to read it out, I think he understands why basically it kind of would be like self-sabotaging. All right? So all I'm going to say, listen to this, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? I received, get ready for this, a $100 tip from I'm Troublesome. Thank you so much to I'm Troublesome for a $100 tip here on the podcast this morning. For the first day of autumn, we're making it rain. The king's coffers are being filled, and I'm Troublesome is the man and the top contributor for the day. But allow me to do the happy dance before before we're done here. It's good stuff. Thank you so much to I'm Troublesome for an incredibly generous $100 tip. And they made a great observation. But the bottom line is, the observation is so good and clever that I don't want to read it out publicly, and that's why they actually said at the beginning of their comment, maybe you don't want to read this out, and I agree with you. So thank you, I'm Troublesome. Now, all of you can try to speculate and figure out what it is that I'm Troublesome said, but that is amazing. We're now skyrocketing to $136 in contributions. We are getting there. We're almost there already, and we're just in the early stages of the podcast, so that is absolutely amazing, okay? So, I received a $1.25 tip. Why do people criticize you over the snorting? People do not criticize me over the snorting. Human pieces of fecal matter say stuff about my snorting as a schoolyard insult. That's all it is. They want to bully me, and they think that saying that I snort is like a way to bully me about a physical shortcoming. It would be the same thing as if I were like in a wheelchair and they said that I'm a wheelchair person, or if, you know, I don't know, if I had like a big blemish on my head, they would make fun of the blemish, you know, because that's how they are. They hone in on a shortcoming and then they act like it's your fault and they make fun of you for it. It literally is schoolyard bullying. So I have postnasal drip. Postnasal drip is a condition where in certain circumstances, like certain temperatures, certain, you know, situations where it's either moist or dry air, and sometimes just if I breathe a certain way at night, I'll have disgusting phlegm and snot dripping down the back of my throat. It's not up here, so if I use decongestant, it doesn't help. It just pours down the back of my throat. And those days I have to constantly clear my throat, snort up here so that I'm not coughing. I literally wouldn't be able to sit here and talk with you if I didn't do it. So there's some days that I have to do it over and over, and it's absolutely disgusting. But it's been since day one that I made content for YouTube, I've been doing it because I've had it my whole life. This is not, oh, it magically just happened one day. I've had it my whole life. You can hear it in all of my original videos from back in the day, 16 years ago. But the detractors act like it's something that's like, I actively choose to do it. I kid you not. They'll say things like, today I haven't snorted yet, right? Why is it that you only have to snort certain days, Phil? Isn't that kind of funny? No, it's because it's based on things like air quality, pollen, temperature, again, moisture, all kinds of factors. You know, right now I'm not here with air conditioning on, so the fresh air that comes in through the window is actually better for me, and it makes it so that the postnasal drip's not as bad. If I'm in air conditioning, it actually affects me worse, and sometimes I have worse days because of it. But this is like common sense stuff for smart people, but my detractors aren't smart. So they literally make up conspiracies that like, oh, I do it on purpose and shit, and oh, you see that? He's a pig. Phil's a pig, so he snorts like a pig. I'm not kidding you. This is what they say. These people are not smart at all. Again, they hyperfixate on one piece of minutia that has nothing to do with anything. It's not like the majority of my content I'm sitting here snorting. Far from it. But they focus in on the few times that I've had bad days having to do it because of a medical condition, and they act like that's the norm. Just like they hyperfixate on a steak comment during a Street Fighter stream, or they hyperfixate on, you know what I mean? Like, I could keep going, the things they hyperfixate on. And, you know, I think you can see the running pattern there of them hyperfixating, which is nuts. That's not normal human thinking. That's disjointed thinking, to hyperfixate on minutia that has zero, meaning, but to act like it's a groupthink popular thing, and then all go, oh, we know the meme, we know the meme. It's like, dude, you're unhinged. You act like you're crazy. So there's your answer. We got a couple super chats that just came in. We have Alan Fight, who did a $5 super chat and said, I have only seen one full playthrough of yours this year, and Street Fighter 6 and your variety content are what keep me coming back. I'm glad to hear that. Because again, that is the idea. I know for a fact I can't keep doing the same song and dance forever. As much as I love video games and being a lifelong gamer, and I'm going to be a lifelong gamer. Don't worry, I'm never going to just give that up. But I know that that's not going to maintain me. I have to do different things. I have to become a podcaster, covering topics, covering some drama, doing crossovers, doing interviews. I have to branch out. I can't just be the same stagnant thing forever. And I'm happy that now I've given a chance to do that, and now it's working. So I'm glad that you're here to enjoy all the content. And then Alan Fight did a second $5 super chat. No, excuse me, this was a $2 super chat. It's so cool that super chats and tips are combined now. I agree. I've literally never done that before, and now I'm doing it. And it's working. Trust me, it's working. People are happy because they want to see their contributions count, and now they do. Just like you could be the top super chatter. If you do an $11 super chat right now, you'll be on the leaderboard. You have the chance to be recognized now. When previously you do a super chat and immediately your super chat would disappear because then someone else super chatted, so you'd be right off the leaderboard again. Well, now you know if you're the top super chatter, you're going to get that recognition as if you were the top tipper too, right? By the way, guys, thank you for 100 likes. The engagement is key and it helps so much. Thank you for 100 likes on the podcast this morning. With over 300 viewers, let's get it to 150 likes, guys. Let's do it. If you like this content, you enjoy the podcast, please give it a like. All right, now I think it's time. Let's head back over to the suggestions, right? Let's do that. Here we go. How about the GOG Resident Evil series for PC? A good old throwback is always fun. Or how about a reaction to your Life is Strange playthrough on DSP Reacts before the release of the new Life is Strange? Now that you can buy them on GOG, you can play the seamless HD project for 1, 2, and 3. Before, there would have been legality issues if you didn't own the games. Perfect use of the mini PC. Only thing is the installation is a bit finicky, but there are guides online to help with it. Well, want to talk about how things have changed? I own every single Resident Evil game on PC. There was a Humble Bundle last month or early this month that went on sale. Someone keyed me in about it on stream. I went and checked it out live, and lo and behold, it was there. It was like 40, 50 bucks, I think. No, it was 30 bucks, but I donated 50 because that way more money would go to charity. And we got the whole bundle. I have every single Resident Evil game on PC now. So whenever we want to jump back into Resident Evil on PC with better graphics and stuff, we can. We are free to do that whenever it makes sense, okay? Cool. Monty Mole says it didn't include Resident Evil 4 Remake. Yeah, but I just played that, so why would I want to play that, right? Stalking Tiger reduced the podcast down to 30 minutes or 60 minutes top. Playing a video game is much more riveting content. Okay, first of all, we already know that that's not the case for everyone. Like, literally. And keep in mind, this was 2 months ago. This was before my resurgence, before I started doing new kinds of content on this show, right? Where we're doing all this stuff now. We're reacting to content. We have interview guests and all that. So I kind of get it. If it's just me sitting here gabbing for 2 hours, that's not riveting for some people. But a lot of people have been saying the podcast now is the best part of the content I'm making, that they like the podcast more than the gameplay, right? And now the clips of the podcast are doing better than all the content on the channel. So I would argue Stalking Tiger was correct 2 months ago when they posted this comment. But I feel like now it's actually completely false. And I would be curious if Stalking Tiger would follow up on this comment and see if they still agree. Reduce React Sundays to once a month. Again, video game playing is much more interesting to watch or have in the background to listen to while doing tasks like lawn mowing or driving a truck. I can't reduce React Sundays to once a month. I have people who pledge as members to that channel. That's why that channel is viable. Like, no exaggeration, okay? The reason that the DSP Reacts channel makes sense for me to do is because I have so many members that I make money on it doing it once a week. If I reduced it to once a month, no one would become a member and pay to have a video watched only once a month. So I would have no reason to even do the channel anymore. It would become defunct. It would become not even worth, running. So it has to be weekly, okay? Being weekly, it actually is pretty profitable. I would argue that the one stream a month that I'm doing on DSP Reacts for the amount of members I have on the channel is a pretty profitable stream. So no complaints there, okay? Stop losing your temper at opponents of Street Fighter 6. Your anger and poor sportsmanship is off-putting to viewers. I think the thing is people take it too seriously. They don't understand that's what I have literally done since day one with fighting games online. If you go back to my old fighting game content, it's exactly the same. It's never changed. That has always been the way that I portray myself playing fighting games, right? I'm better than everyone else. I make no mistakes. The game sucks online. It's always the netcode. People who beat me are always cheating. They're pieces of shit. How dare they act like that? You know, that if you take it seriously, like seriously, do I have to like preface my fighting game streams and say this is kind of a joke? Don't take it seriously. Do you really think about this? Do you really think that because someone is playing a pattern with Cammy in Street Fighter 6 that I actually hate them in real life? You really believe that? If you do, I think you need to like stop living in a fairy tale world. I don't know the people who I'm playing online. I mean, I'm upset when I lose, especially if I lose to some bullshit cookie cutter pattern, but I don't think that they're, you know, that they're awful humans. I just say that for reaction because people like it. People literally attend the Street Fighter 6 streams to see that. How do you think it's real, right? This is the equivalent of back in the day, me talking shit online on forums like SRK or in a fucking IRC chat room and talking shit, and then people thought like I was going to go to a tournament and start beating people up. No. No. It's called online shit talking. How do people not understand the concept? I'm lost. I grew up in arcades. Are you ready? In arcades, when you lost or won, there was insane amounts of shit talking. It was literally like being in a locker room of a bunch of roided dudes yelling at each other and you know, screaming at each other and being at each other's throats constantly. But it wasn't serious. It was just shit talking. We all knew that. We didn't break out into fights in the middle of the fucking arcade, ripping out bats and chains and knives and start fucking brutally murdering each other. It was a fucking video game. It's just a fucking video game. No one is serious. If you take shit talking seriously in a video game, you need to stop playing video games. Just stop. Quit. Really. Don't if you can't stand being in an online environment where someone might shit talk you, then don't go to the online environment. I just don't understand it. Well, I really don't. And plus, I'm only doing that commentary on my own video. It's not like I'm going to that person's channel who I just fought and I leave derogatory comments on their content saying, you suck ass, I beat your ass in Street Fighter, you suck piece of shit. It's just a fucking video. It's just a stream. It's, you know, why people react like this in 2024? I mean, you want to talk about fucking insulated special snowflakes who think that the world is all rainbows and unicorns. It's not. I don't even know what you're talking about. I didn't grow up on that planet. Did you? It's ridiculous. Like, wake up. Anyone has a right to talk shit when they're playing an online game. And if you don't like it, I guess that's fine. But why on earth you would take it seriously and think that someone's being for real? So what would you like me to do? Just keep my mouth shut? Because here's the thing. Here's the boring FGC. They just sit there and they just comment, oh, good move. Oh, I dropped my combo. Oh, good move. Oh, I dropped my combo. Yeah, go to sleep. Just go to sleep. Why watch? Why do you think that the FGC has been so fucking boring for the past 20-some years? It's the colorful characters. It's the personality. That's what makes it exciting. The rivalries, the matchups, the shit talking. Not, oh, good move. Oh, drop my combo. Oh, did that. Oh. You want to know the dumbest meme? The fucking, was it the Wozler? Wow, the Wozler is a really great meme, isn't it, guys? Yeah, if you're 4, that's the equivalent of the content you will get in the FGC if you want everyone to be a fucking PG-rated pussy. Stop wanting PG-rated pussy content, please. There's room for all kinds of content in all games. Do you understand that? If you want PG-rated content, you could go watch the Wozler shit. That's for 4-year-olds. And, oh my God, someone hit him with Iron Man Infinite. No one cares, right? Or you could watch adult content for people who have brains and understand that it's a running joke and it's silly to talk shit to people online. It's not that serious. But it's funny to watch me get pissed at losing the pattern play. Do you not get entertainment when I lose to a Cammy and I start talking shit? Is it not entertaining? I thought it was. Everyone tells me it is, right? Or you could turn on a Wozler video seeing Justin Wong doing the fucking Iron Man Infinite for the 1,000th time and you could go to sleep. It's your choice. Everyone has the right to choose what kind of content you want to watch. But don't criticize mine because you don't understand about how shit talking is entertaining and that it's just a joke. No, I don't actually wish harm to the people I'm playing. It's just an observation because I'm angry in the moment. It's silly. Why on earth you would take it seriously, I just don't understand. Okay, thank you. I'm Troublesome, who just gifted 10 memberships to the community. Congrats to everyone who gets one. Just so you know, it takes YouTube a while to divvy these out now. I don't know why. It's been slower and slower recently. You'll all get them. You will get them. It might just take a bit. Okay? Cool. And by the way, we're at 115 likes again. Let's get that to 150 likes, guys. Let's get that going. Please like the stream if you're here and you're having a good time. Let's get that engagement. We got 21 bucks of super chats. Let's get that to $50 of super chats before the podcast ends. Who's going to be the new top super chatter to unseat Donkey Nuts with a $10 super chat, right? Cool. Okay, let's continue. I would like to see you play Soul Calibur 5. I think I didn't I? I swear that I played Soul Calibur. If there's a new Soul Calibur, I would probably check it out. But I'm not going to be going back to an old Soul Calibur anytime soon. I don't think there's any real demand for that besides maybe you, right? Okay. I think you're missing a huge target audience by not playing the quick multiplayer trendy games for one stream. For example, play X Defiant for either one day. I don't even know what that is. For a day or night stream. You would never have to play it again, and it's free. If people like it, you can always pick up on it again, and if not, you aren't missing out. So here's the deal. If you guys are in the know about some new multiplayer game or things like that, all right, and you're interested in seeing me play it, let me know. Now that I have a gaming PC, it's even more easy to do this because a lot of these games are PC-centric, correct? I'm not opposed to doing a throwaway stream of a random game if you guys want it. I'm okay with that. Totally. And even if some of these games are cheap, like, I'm not talking like, oh, I want to drop 60 bucks on a game I'll play once. But if these games are like, 20 bucks to get in or whatever, I would play it. You just got to let me know. Let me know what's hot. You're going to know better than me. I'm trying to follow the trends and stuff. It's very difficult. If you guys could let me know what's interesting. But here's the funny part. Yeah, Stuart says, X Defiant was a Call of Duty killer. Oh, really? And who's talking about X Defiant today? Right? Where's the X Defiant discussion? I don't see any discussion about it. Again, I think Add the Gamer hit it on the head here. It was one of those flash in the pan. Everyone talked about it for a week, and then no one cares about it anymore, right? So I would have had to play it that week 2 months ago for it to be pertinent, and maybe I should have. But now I actually have the ability to do that because I have the gaming PC. So please share. Yeah, exactly. The memer streamer games. If you know about these, let me know. I'd be willing. All right. Based Eugene says, I'm not going to lie. It feels like you threw Final Fantasy Rebirth, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the major game of the year contender, out the window extremely fast because of the JRPG rush. As someone who doesn't own a PS5, I was looking forward to the playthrough. Hope you'll open the schedule for it in the coming months. I'm not playing it. I'm not. I'm done with it. And I've already explained why, but I'll elaborate. Another game I'd like to see return is the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney series. That's never going to happen. It's just never going to happen. So here's why. All right. Number one, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I was gung-ho to play. People liked it when I played Final Fantasy VII Remake, right? So I go into Rebirth with the same positive attitude. Immediately after I play it, for about 10 hours, 12 hours, people are complaining it's boring, it's repetitive, it sucks. Why? Well, let's see. Because I'm already playing Baldur's Gate 3, which all of you asked for and demanded pretty much. Because I'm already playing Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, which was the first major RPG of the year. And when you're playing too many of the same style of game, guess what happens? Interest wanes. No one wants to see. Imagine if I was playing Street Fighter 6, Mortal Kombat 1, Tekken 8, and the Marvel vs. Capcom collection right now. Do you think that people would care about all those games? They're all the same genre. You cannot play 3 to 4 games of the same genre at the same time. It will not support itself. It's too much of the same and people get bored. All right? And I said that early on this year. I said, understand, guys, if you want me to play Baldur's Gate 3, I foresee a ton of other RPGs coming out. And I'm telling you, we're going to have RPG overload. And everyone's like, oh, no, no, it ain't going to happen. That's no big deal. And literally, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth monstrously undersold. Because it was in the midst of RPG overload for everyone. Not just me, for everyone. Okay? You say it's a major game of the year contender. The game did not sell well. You get it? No one cared about that game outside of the Final Fantasy-centric crew. It didn't really sell across the mainstream like the first one did. So, after me playing it for like 15, 20 hours, and literally on a stream, I couldn't even hold 300 viewers for a hot new game. We had like 200 viewers for the stream, and the entire stream chat was paying no attention to the game. They were off doing other shit. They were talking about sports and shit, and I'm like, I might as well. I could literally have been sitting there doing a Q&A stream, and it would have had more attention, more engagement, more support, and people would have liked it better than if I was playing that game. So why will I continue to play it? And the answer is I'm not going to. Forget it. It doesn't hold retention. It doesn't hold interest. It's a game that's likely great to play yourself, awful for a streaming audience. Unless you're in that crowd where you have the Final Fantasy RPG audience, which I don't, right? It's never going to do well. So I'm not going to be playing it any further. It's that simple. All right? It's just that simple. Sorry, I tried it. It didn't work. I have no commitment to keep playing a game that didn't work. Right? So why would you keep, if you already tried something and it didn't work, why would you just keep trying it anyway? You know it doesn't work. You already have the evidence. Ignore the evidence. Keep going. No, I'm not stupid. I have other things I could be doing. And Phoenix Wright will never work again, and here's why Phoenix Wright will never work again. All right? Because it's too wordy. Okay? It's just too wordy. It's too much dialogue. It takes too long to get through, and there's no spoken dialogue. So if I would play Ace Attorney, I have to sit here reading all day. It actually taxes my voice to do it, because I've done it before. I've played entire games of Ace Attorney, and I've actually lost my voice playing them because there's too much dialogue, okay? They're also too long. I've tried to find ways to not really commit myself to insanely long games these times. Every time that I play an 80-hour game, it just doesn't hold interest anymore. After like the first 20 hours, the entire viewership falls off. People are bored. So I can't be committing myself to 40, 60, 80-hour dialogue-based games anymore. There was a time when people just watched whatever I played. That's just not the case anymore. Now I got to be more smart, more savvy with what I play, and Phoenix Wright just ain't going to work. I know it's not, sadly. Guitar Player just did a $5 super chat and says, it doesn't seem Space Marines 2 is worth $70. Space Marines 2 is worth $70 if you're ready to do co-op with friends, period. If you're going to play it by yourself, it's definitely not worth $70. If you're looking for PvP, it's really not worth $70. It's only if you have a team of friends to team up with and you're looking for a good co-op game that like Gears of War. It's very good in that regard. And outside of that, it's just not very good in my opinion. So there you go. Okay, hold on. I got another contribution to shout out, so we'll swap back. I received a $2.15 tip. I think it's stupid when they criticize you for snorts and acts. It's not like you actively chose to do it. People shouldn't judge things you can't control. They're idiots. Exactly right. Again, it's like, it's a physical shortcoming. Listen, if you want to joke about a mannerism that I have, that I actively have adopted as part of my online presence or character, if you want to talk about phrase I keep saying, if you want to talk about I play games bad, or you don't like this part of my content, those are all valid. To sit here and criticize things that I can't help, it's not like I actively am choosing to snort. I don't want to snort. I think it's disgusting like everyone else. I have to do it so I don't cough, or else I'd be sitting here coughing all day, right? So, yeah, it's dumb. You're literally right. It's them picking on something you can't help. So it's like schoolyard bullying. Keep in mind, these people are all fucking anonymous and would never like the camera turned towards back them. God forbid they showed their faces or they got themselves criticized for all of their physical shortcomings that they can't help. They would explode. They would melt like a fucking wax candle. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. Okay, let's go back. How are we doing? 120 likes, guys. Let's get that to 150 likes. Come on, we got about 20-25 minutes left on the show. Let's get to 150 likes by the end of the show. Let's get some more super chats in to top. We got to get someone to unseat Donkey Nut. Donkey Nut, that's embarrassing. Donkey Nuts. Do you want a guy whose name is Donkey Nuts to be sitting on the throne as top super chatter for the rest of the stream? Well, let's get that guy. Let's get someone to give him the big ass boot off of that fucking chair and get someone else in his place, right? There you go. Okay, let's continue. So OP Boone said, hardware suggestion, the Logitech K400 Plus keyboard with trackpad. Recently, you mentioned the wireless mouse you use to control your streaming PC is having issues. I feel like having a trackpad would solve the problem. This one has a keyboard attached. Or guess what? I have all new equipment because you guys have supported me so much in the last month. I have a brand new, awesome mini wireless keyboard that I use to update the leaderboard. I have a brand new mini wireless mouse that's completely silent. It's really, really good mouse. I have a Logitech mouse that I use to control my gaming PC. And I have a nice Logitech RGB keyboard right here. See, it's lighting up and lighting down. It's RGB, cool setup. So I have all new equipment thanks to you guys. I appreciate OP Boone's suggestion, but I ended up getting some pretty high-end stuff for myself when I could afford it. 2 months ago, I hadn't seen this big burst in support, so things were tight. That's why he was suggesting a $26 keyboard. Okay. I suggested what you had for dinner segment at the beginning of every night stream. No. I have 2 suggestions. As a smaller variety streamer, you have the opportunity to engage with your audience more closely. For the sake of variety and deeper audience engagement, you should consider hosting multiplayer nights every 2 weeks. Before you say that this could be ruined by bad actors, please consider the only multiplayer modes that are either free-for-all or for 1v1 like FFA, Deathmatch, and FPS, Halo custom games, or Street Fighter lobbies. These kinds of non-team game modes are controlling and playing to win nearly indistinguishable. That way, it doesn't matter who joins the lobby, and people can be booted halfway through the stream to get in new folks. And instead, hosting a multiplayer night once every 2 weeks keeps that fresh and gives new viewers a chance to participate more in your content, and this will help grow a longer sense of community outside the chat. Well, in regards to fighting games, we tried it and it didn't work. I tried this with Street Fighter 6. Everyone said do community lobbies, so I did them. And what ended up happening was I was doing them basically like for about a month. At the end of the month, no exaggeration, everyone complained, this is boring. Phil needs to play ranked matches because when he does his community nights, he literally just beats up on his fans and scrubs alike. He just wails on them all night. No one's good enough to beat him. It's not entertaining. So I stopped doing community nights and I started doing ranked. And then within a month or two, people complained, oh, why did he cancel community nights? Because you complained. You said they were bad. The attendance went down. The support went down. So I stopped doing them. You can't have it both ways. You can't want community nights, then not like community nights. So I'm not doing community nights at Street Fighter. I already tried it. Okay? In regards to Call of Duty and stuff, maybe eventually we would. Maybe what we could do is do some lobbies where we get fans in there and we play together. I don't know. We'll have to see. But it's not a major focus of mine because I don't want to waste time when I could do meaningful content that I know is entertaining to the audience that doesn't empower the trolls. I know what you're saying, but the bottom line is, when you create a multiplayer environment where anyone can join, you're empowering the trolls to go fuck with stuff. Why create content with the potential to be fucked with when I can easily make content where it can't be fucked with and everyone likes it? No one has legitimately given me an actual justification for these multiplayer nights. It's just ignore the trolls and do it anyway. No, because what that means is you want the trolls to show up and ruin it, and you think I'm stupid enough to just say, oh, just ignore the fact that the problem exists and will persist. It's not going to magically just go away overnight and fix itself. They're going to show up. So why create the environment for them to be empowered? I'm not dumb. Unless you have a solution for it, you can stop suggesting it because no one has a solution. Everyone always claims it's going to be all, just trust the system. It'll just be all right. It's never going to work. You have to believe that the bad actors are going to be there and act bad, and you have to plan for it and make good content, not give them the opportunity to fuck with you. That's what I've learned over the years. Okay, so these kind of suggestions, unless Infamous Juggernaut, you have a legit suggestion and saying, here's how to stop it, don't waste our time. You're wasting everyone's time with the suggestion because no one wants to see those fuckers get any attention. You understand? Okay. The Master Chief Collection is free on Game Pass. You never played Halo 3 on YouTube. It would be a great chance to revisit the best of the series during night streams, downtime this summer. Playing the campaign on normal is very chill if you wanted something. Appreciate the suggestion, but I don't think anyone cared about classic Halo. Continue Sea of Stars. I 100% one day want to go back and continue Sea of Stars. We have to find a calm time to do it. Maybe early next year. We'll see. Can you bring back WWE Royal Rumble custom character matches? No, because I'm not going to buy another WWE game unless I feel there's a reason to. Right now, I just don't feel like there's a reason to. Okay? Have you heard of X-Defiant? We already talked about that. Put up a suggestion box the first of every month instead of every 4 to 6 months if you're continuing to do the suggestion box. That way it doesn't get outdated. And don't acknowledge troll comments in the suggestion box. Just delete them. I agree with both of these. This is actually great. Andrew, great suggestions. It's my fault that basically with everything that just happened in the last month and a half, 2 months, that I didn't stay up on the suggestion box. So maybe we should make a new one starting in October. OP Boone says, consider a command like mini PC to Nightbot. Oh, you mean like this command that we have right here? Does it work? There it is. I have a PC command that gives all the specs of my gaming PC in the chat right now. So this is one we did. Forget the mini PC. We don't use the mini PC anymore. It's retired. Now we use the high-end gaming PC, and this has been a solution. The solution's there. There you go. By the way, that's even outdated because now I have a better hard drive. Or, yeah, I have a better SSD that someone donated. So I'm using a better SSD than is in those specs. It's like a 3 or 4 terabyte, and it's actually much faster than that, the specs. In fact, here it is. Hold on. It's a 3 terabyte 990 Pro. Wait, is it 3 terabytes? How many terabytes is this? I think it's 4 terabytes. It's this thing. That's what I'm using in my gaming PC right now. I don't even know how many. I think it's 4 terabytes or 3.5 terabytes or something like that. Samsung SSD Pro, 4 terabytes. So actually, it's better. I have to upgrade the command because the command is outdated. Here, so it should be 4 terabyte. PCIe. NVMe M.2 SSD. There you go. So now that command is updated to actually reflect the proper hard drive, which is supposed to be faster. It's actually supposed to be even faster than the hard drive. That's the OS hard drive now in the gaming PC. So there you go. Okay, here we go. I suggested that you take 5-minute power naps during video recordings. During night streams, you sometimes look and sound tired. You sometimes yawn and even doze off. A 5-minute power nap might be beneficial. Usually now I have the coffee, but every once in a while I will have a night where I'm really tired, and definitely that would happen. I'm not gonna lie. Depends on the game, but it doesn't happen all the time. Original Undead Nightmare videos from 2010. We already are doing it on DSP Throwback. It has begun as of this month. That is correct. It's already begun. Some of your audience are practicing religious people. It would be nice if you can avoid swearing in conjunction with God's name or Jesus' name. Stuff like, oh my effing G or Jesus effing Christ sounds really painful on our ears. And I can't watch this comfortably if my mom is walking in or sitting by near me with F-bombs. First of all, God is not God's name. You're aware of that, correct? Dependent on what religion you practice or what you believe, there's a name for God, and I'm not using those. I'm using the generic name. In reality, when they say, you remember the 10 Commandments, you're not supposed to use God's name in vain, they mean God's real name. They don't mean just the term God. The term God is a generic term, while the name is specific. So actually, when I say, oh my God, that's not a using God's name in vain. It never was intended. The problem is people have changed terms and what it uses. It's semantics, basically, okay? I'm not actually using God's name in vain when I say, oh my God, or oh my fucking God. I'm not. Okay? Now, when I say Jesus Christ, I mean, yeah, you can argue I'm using that as an expletive. So there, I think you've got me. I don't think there's a way to weasel out of there, except that actually, I don't believe his name was really Jesus Christ either. I think that it was a variation of that in ancient language. But I mean, it's semantics, right? Yeah, I get you. And the thing is, it's just become kind of part of common speak, you know, to have expletives like that. Perhaps over time I should get better than that. Maybe I should be better. Right now, I don't think I'm gonna. That's a change that I'm gonna be able to do overnight or anything like that. But that's maybe something that I can try to improve on in the future, right? If it is offensive to people, right? The reason I say Jesus Christ is because I'm Christian, so that's like the one I would say. Maybe if I grew up a different religion, I would have been using a different expletive, right? Okay. Suggestion for the throwback channel. Can we get a re-upload of the best and worst games you had shown on Blip? I don't believe you've ever touched those after leaving Blip. I only think the fan-voted games ever survived. I could look into that. A lot of the stuff from that time period is a little iffy, meaning like it's not necessarily 100% done. Like I think I have the core files, but they may not actually be done. It may be like before I threw it into the video editor, here's all the components. You know what I'm saying? But not the finished edited videos. I have to see. That's a good suggestion because I think you're right. I think all that year-end stuff from 2010 is probably missing. So I might have to look into, can I find the year-end 2010 stuff? That's kind of the forgotten missing videos from a bygone era. Your community tab looks pretty awful with private streams and plain white text backgrounds. Consider deleting stream announcements after the stream is done and make a more colorful yet cohesive template for your schedule so that it looks more interesting. And OP Boone says, I think it's possible to make a community post expire after 24 hours. Utilizing that feature could be helpful. YouTube gave me a community tab for some reason, I see the feature there, but it only is available on the mobile app. Maybe I could do that. What do you think? If I make a post that's like, here's the upcoming stream, right? But then I make it so that it expires. Let me test it. Like if right now I go to the community tab, I'm going to make a new one. This is public. It's public, all members and levels of members. And then we have quiz video, test poll, image poll, image. Okay, post. Schedule post. No, I can schedule a post, but I don't see a way to have it expire. I think what you could do, maybe you can have like a poll expire, but I don't see a way to have the post expire. You can schedule it to only go up at a certain time in the future, but I don't see a way to make it expire unless someone knows that that exists. Because obviously I want the posts showing my streams live when the streams are live, but when they are, you know, once they're archived, you're right. And then I want you to watch the raw video. So you're like, the community tab looks bad because you've got all these archived streams that you can't access. You know, at the same time, though, at least that gives you an idea of what I've been working on. Even if you can't see the live stream, you know you could probably just go to the channel and find the video, right? What do you guys think? I need input on this one. I need input on the community tab on how you guys think I can improve it. I'm down for improvement there for sure. I just don't know how to concretely do it. So if you guys could give me feedback on that, I would greatly appreciate it. Okay? All right. So we're almost out of time for the show. We have like 5 minutes left. What I would say is, last chance, if anyone has a question or a last-minute contribution, it sure would be great if we could just hit this King's Coffers goal now. So that way when we're on the React show, we don't have to worry about it at all. And we could just say, hey, we hit streak 5. So if anyone was going to do any kind of contribution or for support at this point, I would say, dude, just drop it now. Let's get it done. Let's get you your shout out, right? And that way we can all just kind of chill and relax. And not have to worry about, oh no, will he hit the goal? Will he not hit the goal? Will he hit the goal? Will he not hit the goal? And go back and forth doing all that crap, right? But let's see. What do you guys want to do for the finale of the show? What's on your mind? Anything? Anyone? Anything? No, you're not allowed to chill and relax at all. Not at all. There's no relaxation until the King's coffers are filled. How dare you even suggest such a thing? What an awful thing to say in the chat. I have a Cowboy fan says, I added a couple posts to the suggestions box. Thank you. We will eventually get to them. As you see, today we got through like half. The thing is, a lot of those were outdated, right? Like a lot of those, sadly, were just really outdated because they were 2 months old. If I do a new suggestion box for October, it should definitely be more pertinent, right? Yeah. Phew. Green Goblin, I'm not going to catch up on modern wrestling for my appearance on Cultaholic. No, it's just going to be a show about my history with wrestling, talking about those 3 matches on the desert island, and then wherever else the conversation goes. But I mean, maybe they will bring up modern stuff, but I don't know any of it from the last 4.5 years. I haven't followed it. Okay. Is that it, guys? Should we end the show? It seems like no one has any topics to talk about. Everyone's quiet. So I guess we'll wrap it up. I'm just looking to see if anyone else has something to say. Everyone's completely quiet, so. All right. Well, guys, thank you for a chill podcast. As I told you, we didn't have any crazy topics today, but I'm glad that we got through some suggestion box stuff. We have some stuff to follow up on in the suggestion box. Please give me that feedback about some of those topics as appropriate here. Thanks for being a great audience. I had a good time today. Remember, tomorrow we will get back on track with gameplay. But today it's all reacting. I hope you'll stick around and head over to DSP Reacts for DSP versus the Internet, my weekly Clips React show. It should be a good time. And I hope tonight you'll be there for Retro React of Resident Evil 1 on DSP Throwback. Happy autumn, everyone. I'm glad that we have changed seasons, and I hope to see you tomorrow for another fun episode. Peace out, and see you then.